So browse, and we want Epicurus. And here's the two documents that we have. Principal Doctrines, letter to Menocius. We have, these are, and there's an interesting aspect to this too. These are principles, they're sayings, not a history of his life. He does not give us a history of his life. We know certain things about him. We know he died of stomach issues, oddly, etc. But and he lived in an estate. He had actually a lot of wealth, and so his garden was like in Athens, in a walled garden where he had students come, and I believe they paid him for what he taught them and so on. So he had servants and he had, the whole thing, there. But still he was trying to avoid attachment to all of the stresses in the city. But he does say, let no one be slow to seek wisdom when he is young. Plato famously thought you shouldn't really study philosophy till you're in your 50s, because it's just going to ruin your life. You as a young person, you get all these questions and you start wondering, what life is all about, and you don't concentrate on getting a good job and doing a good, making money and raising your family and doing all the things that a society needs you to do. And then once you're old enough, you're kind of sort of retired. Then you can think about all this stuff and get involved in philosophy. That's Plato's approach to it. And by the way, that might have been brought on by watching what happened to his teacher Socrates. Well, this community killed him for interfering with the youth, and I can imagine, screwing with the youth, not a good thing. Don't do that. Wait till they're, old, and interested, and they've had all these experiences, so now they're basically old enough and have had enough experiences to see the value in these kinds of discussions and questions. But Epicurus is going to say just the opposite. We should study wisdom right off the bat, and so on. The gods exist, but it's ridiculous to think that they care about us. It's kind of the Greek pagan view, that what we're interested in understanding about the gods is trying to basically know science. What happens if you fall off a cliff? It's not going to be good for you, so don't fall off a cliff, right? Learn how physical nature works. They thought of that as associated with the gods, but by learning what the gods, how they behave, you're going to protect yourself. So knowledge of how things work is essentially what this pagan religion is all about. Yes, if they come up with weird things like we should, bang on a gong, so many times, bless the altars. I don't know if you saw recently, Notre Dame Cathedral was rebuilt, and the one service, the very first service, was blessing the altar. So they had this brand new altar, and they came in and they made all these prayers. They covered it with holy oil and then dried it all off and then covered it with a tablecloth and made, lots of smoke, the incense all over the place, and and all these special prayers for this altar to be powerful. Let this altar be powerful. And I'm sitting there thinking this whole time, how did they accumulate all this ritual, thinking that this was somehow going to transform this beautiful, heavy, stone table to be a powerful force for good, through its use in masses and so on. Let me show you that. I don't know if this is, oh, let's not do that. What was a better search term? I should have searched blessing the table, the altar. Well, there you can see it. See that big, it looks almost like a bowl. But, so, fantastic ritual. What made them think that those specific things that they were doing were going to, consecrate this stone altar? And they put the relics. They had a special opening in the top where they had a box of specific relics that they had rescued from the fire, put them back in there and sealed it up, so there was all, etc. There are supposed to be relics in all the Catholic altars, by the way, just so if you didn't know. But so this is interesting. So for him, the gods exist. It's like gravity, but it's ridiculous to think by praying to gravity will give you forgiveness so you could jump off the cliff and not get injured. That doesn't work. That's not how the gods work. It's just ridiculous to think that the gods will help you that way. You've got to learn how to cooperate with the gods by staying out from underneath their feet, because just don't get in their way. Death. Death is an issue. And for Epicurus, accustom yourself to believe that death is nothing to us. For good and evil imply awareness. This is interesting. And death is the privation of all awareness. Therefore, a right understanding that death is nothing to us makes the mortality of life enjoyable. Not by adding to life an unlimited time, but by taking away the yearning after immortality. For life has no terror for those who thoroughly apprehend that there are no terrors for them in ceasing to live. Because once you're dead, you don't feel anything anymore. So, if you fear death, then you're being foolish. Not because it will pain when it comes, but because it pains in the prospect. It's worrying about it that's the worst part of it. I'm not sure I agree with him. I've seen people die. It's a painful experience, especially when they want you to kill them because it hurts so much, and you're like, that's the end of your career if you do that. So no, you don't. I can't do that, and they're like, that's the stupidest thing you've ever done. And it's like, I'm sorry, Grandpa, but you just can't take the pillow and not legal, right? Whatever causes no annoyance when it is present causes only a groundless pain in the expectation. Death, therefore, the most awful of evils, is nothing to us, seeing that when we are, death is not come. And when death is come, we are not. Kind of famous, Don't worry about it, etc. Epicurus. So, focus really on, yes, learn stuff. He is influenced by Aristotle and Plato. And so, yes, there's specific things in life that are especially wonderful, and he's interested in those kinds of things as well. So Epicurus, I guess I have enough time. I'll quick play a little bit here. There's Fellini, Satyricon, Trimalchio's Feast. Find it right. Videos. This is a trigger warning. I should give you a trigger warning, yes? I don't know why there's no sound to it, because, oh, let's try this. Huh. So Federico Fellini is an Italian movie producer from after World War II. His movies are almost always gross. And in Italian.
I pesci devono nuotare, grazie agli dei io non compro. Tutto quello che fa saliva mi viene da un mio podere che chissà dov'è. Dicono che sta tra Terracina e Tara. Io mi devo sconfinare con la Sicilia, perché mi voglio fare un viaggio fino in Africa. Così a piedi, a cavallo o anche per mare, navigo sempre sul mio. Simile in questo al sempre errante Ulisse. Mi piace la citazione?
Kind of like Elon Musk, you know, in his day.
Questa qui è la prima barba che mi tagliai. Io sembravo Genoma a 14 anni. E questi sono i lari miei, protettori della nostra proprietà. Affarone, contentone e guadambione, propizi siano gli dei. Che curia sei? Sei nato a caso o sei d'acquisto?
Né l'uno né l'altro, sono stato lasciato a te in testamento da Marcia.
Cocina più grosso, cocina, ma attento che se non vi è bene te passano la decuria di scopini.
Una volta un povero ricco venne ricco.
E che cos'è un povero?
Bravo, questo è buono.
Vado al vaso.
Did they have vomitoriums, or was that just a myth?
Mentre di volta hai visto tradotti. Allora non c'è
This
niente
feast
di meglio
lasts
che
all
passare
day,
la
so you
giornata.
periodically have to
Abbiamo
go
un
and
gran freddo, il bagno mi ha scaldato a stento. Bene che
clear the
mosche
way
siamo,
for
bene
more
che
food.
mosche. Loro una certa resistenza ce l'hanno, ma noi niente più che delle bolle siamo.
Un po' così come diceva il contadino che aveva perduto il maiale mezzato.
Una sua mano il piombo che andava a olio era più nero di un corpo. Ci aveva più di 70 anni e ancora andava in colore. Non lasciava in pace nemmeno il cane di casa.
That's why the trigger warning, you know, you've got pretty gross comments. He's the main character in the movie, by the way.
Ma come l'avete già cucinato? E la brescia non l'avete nemmeno svettato. E me lo portate così? Il coco chiamatemi! L'hai cotto intero, non l'hai aperto.
Pietà, mio signore,
Piegatelo e frustatelo.
ho sbagliato, ma abbi pietà.
disgraziato. Metterlo qua, adesso.
Oh meraviglia! Ricordi! Scalini incazzato! Vendete di uccelli! Colori salsicce! Colori più moderne! Ciocciola! Vedo già pucciata, prosciutto, paratella!
Awful as shit.